Hello, Andres Garcia and Dolly Claros. Welcome to today's class. We are giving 2 or 3 more minutes so that your classmates can log in. Thank you for being present today. Let's wait 3 more minutes.
Okay, Mr.
Luciana Perez, welcome. We are waiting for your classmates. Thank you for being present today.
Hi, teacher.
So we are preparing to work as much as we can today in order to do our quiz the day after tomorrow. So today we have a lot to cover, but let's wait for your classmates. Alison Lara, welcome.
Hi, teacher. Good night.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good. And Mariana Lopez, welcome to today's class. Welcome for being present, Mariana Lopez.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Let's give 1 more minute, okay? Because today we have a lot to cover and I would not like for any of your other classmates to not be present and listen to the introduction, okay? So 1 more minute. Thank you. Oscar, welcome to today's class.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, so welcome everybody. Let's begin with today's class. Today is February 22nd. Today, as I mentioned before earlier, today we have a lot to cover since I would like you to do the quiz the day after tomorrow. So today we're going to take a look at the following grammar explanations, which are the object adjective clauses. That's when we use that, okay? That's, I want to tell you about the person that hit me last week, okay? So that's basically the object adjective clause, but of course, with the explanation, everything is going to be clear. Then the passive modals, I've mentioned on Friday that one of my favorite passive modals or modals is ought to, and that's to give an advice. So we're going to take a look at that. After that, I would like to concentrate on the pronunciation, the pronunciation activities. As you can see, those are the ones that says teacher graded. Okay, so that's when I come in and listen to your recordings with the given activities, which are consonant clusters. Okay, we are going to take a look at that as well. And we are going to concentrate and go over words that end with shun and ate. They usually have a pattern, and I found it to be very interesting. So we have pronunciation and speaking activities, okay? So for the moment, let's begin so that I can activate and so that we can work along and finish today's activities. Now I would like to start off by going over the object adjective clauses. Okay, so we have an explanation, then we have two activities. Those activities are for the end. I always like to start by listening to the explanations and by giving instructions so that in the second half of the class, we can work on them and you can ask the teacher if there are any issues or problems. So let's go with the explanation for object adjective clauses. Okay, so let's begin by listening to our grammar coach about the object adjective clauses. Why do we use them? When do we use them?
Hi, you're just the person I wanted to see. There's something that we need to discuss today. It has to do with object adjective clauses. These are the clauses that we use to identify the object of the sentence. Let's take a look at them.
Okay, so let's begin with the grammar explanation. Why is it so important to know and when can we use them?
Adjective clauses, also called relative clauses, identify nouns or indefinite pronouns such as one, someone, and something. Adjective clauses often answer the question which one or which ones.
You're the two people I wanted to see.
I wanted to see is an adjective clause. It identifies the two people. In other words, Nick wanted to see these particular people. Adjective clauses often begin with a relative pronoun, such as who or that. The relative pronoun refers to a noun or pronoun outside the adjective clause. The rest of the adjective clause tells more about that noun or pronoun.
This is the recording that I told you about.
The relative pronoun is that. It refers to recording. The adjective clause is that I told you about. It gives information about the recording. The relative pronoun combines two sentences into one sentence.
That's the video. Talia made the video. That's the video that Talia made.
In object-adjective clauses, the relative pronoun is the object of the verb in the adjective clause. In the following sentence, the verb is heard. The object of the verb is conversation.
We heard the conversation. The conversation will clear Nick's name. The conversation that we heard will clear Nick's name.
When the sentence changes to an adjective clause, the object of the verb is the relative pronoun that. Notice that the relative pronoun always comes first in an adjective clause. We can use the relative pronoun who or that when the object of the adjective clause is a person.
There's someone who I have to go see.
Or,
There's someone that I have to go see.
we can also use the relative pronoun whom when the object is a person, but this is very formal.
The soccer player whom the Federation is investigating is the very popular Nick Crawford.
We can use the relative.
Okay, so as you heard, you can start using whom whenever you want to express, okay, about a sentence about a person. Who and that can also be used for a person, okay? In the activities that we are going to do as a group, there is one in which we are talking about a person, and I came up to the conclusion that the answers according to the activities they make it easier because, for example, if in a given question on the activities, if they would talk about a person and they had these two possible answers, who and that, I think that would make your studying journey more difficult, okay? But that's why I decided to make and do the one of the activities together so that whenever that sentence pops up, I can explain to you that those two can be used and that perhaps the platform did not take that into account, okay? But for us students who are learning the language and who are being introduced to this new topic, whenever we come up with this kind of questions in which two answers can be are correct, that's when we start questioning what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong, and was the explanation correct? So that's why we're going to do it together. But remember, we can use who and that.
Or which when the object is a thing.
My conversation wasn't the only one that she recorded.
Or,
My conversation wasn't the only one which she recorded.
that is more common than which in informal conversation.
okay? It is the explanation. The explanation is not saying that it is. Rather, it is saying that people often use that in conversations more commonly than which. But remember, you can use which or that. It's up to you. But in informal conversations, you're going to use that more times. Now let's go with the last one.
Relative pronouns don't change forms. They're the same for singular and plural objects. They're also the same for male and female objects.
That's the man who I saw.
Those are the women who I saw.
Want to use that or which, okay? They stay the same in English, okay? 8.
Writing.
Talia's the one Nick wants to see.
Newsline is the show I always watch.
So remember, whenever you have the opportunity to listen and talk to a native speaker and an English native speaker, whenever you sound a sentence and you do not hear these words that can be omitted, remember, it's okay to not use them. It's the same thing he wants to see. Example, no, design, but with those, okay, and to omit them, to leave them out. But of course, in university, okay, so we are back again. As I was mentioning, if you want to be formal, for example, in a university essay, remember, try to use the relative pronouns, okay? That or which. Now let me close this, let me pause. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'd like to go over the examples as a group. let's go with the first one, the first two, and let's put our previous acquired knowledge into practice. Let's see. Sometimes the explanation is confusing, but once you come to to execute your knowledge, it's usually easier, okay? So here we have Talia and Nick. They are having a conversation, and all we have to do is select, okay, the correct adjective, the object adjective clause, which, that, whom, okay? So for number one with Talia, okay, I will go with Dolly. Dolly, you are going to be Talia, and Oscar, you are going to be Nick, okay? So we have Talia and Nick, which is Dolly and Oscar. All right. So here on your screen, I am projecting the two possible answers. Take your time, okay, Dolly?
Okay.
And let's begin.
I'm studying here with someone is someone which all of you know, who all of you you know. Second option, yes. Nick Crawford was accused of accepting a bribe to sit out the game. Nick, your name has just been cleared. Tell our viewers, how do you feel?
Very good, thank you, Dolly. So we have Nick Crawford was accused of accepting a bribe to sit out a game. Nick, your name has just been cleared. Tell our viewers, how do you feel? Okay, so remember going back to when we became detectives, we had a setup in which Nick was being accused of something that he didn't do. So bribe is one of the words we learned, okay, last week. So let's continue with Oscar.
Great. Even though I was innocent, it was something that I just couldn't prove.
Okay, thank you. Dolly?
Until now, you meant you found proof that you learned. Dean Bishop was framing you, but can you tell us about Bishop?
Okay, so this is the word to frame, framing, okay? That's the setup, okay? Framing. Thank you very much. So let's continue with Nick, which is Oscar.
Well, Dean is someone Dean is someone which I use it to like and trust. It's a real shock.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. That's why I decided to do it with you. Remember, for a person, we can use who or that or whom, which we usually use it for things or situations, but not for a person. So Dean is someone that I used to like and trust. It's a real shock. Thank you very much. Now let's continue, Talia.
What will you do now that you have proven you're innocent?
Oscar?
Play soccer again. The qualifying match is coming up.
Talia?
The Ay, no veo. The qualifying match, the game who you're learning lots. No relative pronoun.
Okay. Lost last year. So no relative pronoun is needed here. The game your team lost last year. Okay. So there's no need for relative pronoun. Thank you very much, Dolly. Let's continue. Nick.
Okay, that's right. And it's the game that we have to win in order to go on to play in the finals.
Well, with talent, which you look.
Thank you.
This is Talia Santos reporting. Leave your news line. Now back to you, John.
Thank you very much. You too. So we are finished with this one, and as you witnessed, we had two issues, two problems, but we came over those obstacles. Thank you very much. Now let me close. Okay, and let's continue to the next grammar explanation, okay? Because the second activity, I believe you do it yourself once I already helped you with one of them. So let's continue with, okay, here it is, the passive modals. So let's pay attention to the explanation. Remember, sometimes the explanation might be difficult, okay? Okay, let me share my screen and let's listen.
Hi. TV news is amazing. The latest news can be seen by people everywhere at the same time. So by now, Nick's story must be known all over the place. Can be seen and must be known are passive modals. We're going to learn more about them today. Verbs can have either an active or a passive form. We use the active form of a verb when we want to focus on the agent, the doer of the action.
Talia's going to interview Nick later in the day.
The example focuses on Talia, the one who may interview Nick. We use the passive form of the verb when we want to focus on the receiver of the action.
Nick is going to be interviewed by Talia later in the day.
The example focuses on Nick.
Okay, so I am pretty sure you remember the passive form. For example, if I say the following example sentence, Juan reads the book every night. Now, in this first sentence, we are applying emphasis on Juan, which is a doer. That's the most important thing in the first sentence. That's the active voice. Now, if I want to say it in passive voice, I want to make the book the most important thing in the sentence. Okay, so it should sound like this. The book is being read by Juan every night. Okay, so that's the passive. Now let's continue listening.
All verb forms, present, past, present and past continuous, present and past perfect, etc., can be used in the passive. We can also use modals in the passive. To form a passive modal, we use a modal plus be plus the past participle.
The recording can be edited.
We use can with the passive to talk about present or future ability.
The World Cup matches can be seen all over the world.
We use could with the passive to talk about past ability.
Nick's innocence couldn't be proven without Talia's help.
Okay, guys, so in the following explanations, we are going to familiarize ourselves with the different modals that we can use. We're starting with can, and remember, we use can for present or future ability. Whenever you want to talk about the past, remember, we have to change can into could, okay? But can and could are used for ability, a physical ability. Let's continue with number 4.
We use could, may, might, and can't with the passive to talk about future possibility or impossibility.
Dean might be sent to jail for framing Nick.
This means that it isn't necessary for Nick to speak to Talia. He has another choice. We use should, ought to, and had better with the passive to talk about advice.
The soccer federation ought to be told right away about Nick's innocence.
We use have to and must with the passive to talk about necessity.
The recording had to be edited.
Okay, so as we have been learning about the modals and now with the passive voice, remember we can use have to and must for given to talk about a necessity, okay? I have to go to the bathroom. I must go now because I need to arrive early tonight, okay? So that's for a necessity. We use the modals should, ought to, this is my favorite one, and had better to give an advice, okay? So we should be studying as fast as we can in order to finish this lesson this week or before this week, okay? So ought to is a formal way, okay? Ought to is a more formal way, okay? And had better, that's very, to be honest, in my personal opinion, I do not often hear this modal whenever somebody wants to give an advice. The most, the one that people use the most is should, okay? That's the one to give an advice. But remember, you can use you had better done your homework by the time I arrived, okay? Now let's continue with the following ones. We also have could, may, might, and of course, the negative form, okay, to talk about future possibility or impossibility, okay? If you have any questions, for example, what does may or might mean, okay? Remember, we can remember this modal whenever you are learning English. One of the first phrases your teacher should teach you is, or mention is, may I go to the bathroom? That's the formal way of asking for permission. May I go to the bathroom? But of course, I've heard the same question with can I go to the bathroom? So I remember when I mentioned this to one of my teachers, and she responded in a funny manner. I believe she was being, there's this word that I want to say. Americans and Germans, for example, they are usually very tip of the tongue. I had it on the tip of the tongue, but well, she told me in a very funny way. Yes, I'm pretty sure you can go to the bathroom, but am I gonna let you go? May you go? That's a different aspect, okay? So the correct form is, may I go to the bathroom, okay? Sarcasm, that's the word, okay? So they were sarcastic about me asking with the incorrect modal. Now, let's go with, okay, that was one of the first ones. The most used one is can, okay? So let me pause and close. Okay, 1 second. Let me reshare. Okay, so with that being said, I am going to activate the second activity with the object adjective clauses. Remember, we use that and who for a person. We use that and which for things. And for the passive modals, remember, I will also activate this explanation if you want to take a look at it afterwards. Now, let's continue with these pronunciations, which you will also have pronunciation activities, okay? So let's start with this one, consonant clusters. When do we use them? When do we use them and how do we use them? Okay, here it is. So for the moment, we have 3 activities already, but they should be easy because we went over the explanation and I also helped you with the one of the activities. Pronunciation, consonant clusters. Listen to the explanation and examples. Click on the light bulb icon for more information. Now, let me zoom in. Let's start listening.
Listen to these words from the dialogue. They all have consonant clusters in the middle or at the end. Notice the consonant clusters shown in blue.
Okay, so consonant clusters should be the syllabus, well, the part of the word that should sound more. Where should we increase our intonation in order to have a better pronunciation whenever we speak in English or read? So I believe this is important to go over them.
Hold.
Just.
Yourself.
Act.
Thanks. Thanks. Health. Health.
Relieved. Relieved.
Accept. Accept.
Expect. Expect.
Okay, so remember these words are going to be in the following explanations, because remember today we are also going to work on words that end with shun, and there's a pattern in which the tonic sound there's a pattern with these sounds. So in order to acquire and have them correct, we must take a look at these words which we just have. Okay, let me pause and continue with these activities. Okay, clusters number 2. Okay, so that was the first one. Now let's go with consonant clusters number 1. That would be an activity, but let's take a look at it. Remember, there's always a section in which you have to record yourself so that you can work on your intonation, your fluency, okay? So here we have, listen to each word, type the consonant cluster that you hear into the blank, consonant cluster. In this activity, you will be graded on capitalization, lower cases and upper cases. Example, I think James isn't fun. That's incorrect. The correct form is, I think James isn't fun, okay? So we'll listen and we try to write what was said.
Help. Help.
Okay, so I heard help in present, so that's help, because if it was in past with the ed, that would sound with a t sound at the end, helped, helped, but I've heard help, help, okay? So let's listen one more time.
Help.
Good. Now number 2.
React.
Okay.
React.
Okay, so where is the cluster? Act. Okay, act.
React.
Okay, so that's all you have to do. Okay, number 3.
Next.
Okay, so that's the cluster.
Next.
Next. Ext. Ext. Number 4, very quickly.
Think.
Think. Think. Okay, so I will activate this activity so that you can spend 30 seconds on this activity. Let me pause. Okay. So those are the consonant clusters, which, as you heard, they are easy. Now let's go with the shun and 8 pronunciation. Okay, pronunciations, words ending in shun or 8. Listen to the explanation and examples. Click on the light bulb icon for more information. Now let's listen.
The words shown in blue all have the ending shun. We stress the syllable just before the shun. Celebration. The stress stays on this syllable even if we add another ending after the shun. Emotion. Emotional. The words shown in purple are all forms of verbs that have the ending ate. We put the stress 2 syllables before the ate. Celebrate. Listen to these lines from the dialogue. Listen for the stressed syllable in each blue and purple word.
Okay, so that's why we work with the previous activity, okay, to remember where the stress sound stays or where the stress syllable goes. As we heard here for emotion and emotional, okay, they usually go a syllable before it, but we are now going to concentrate only with words that end with 8, which, according to the explanation, we put the stress syllable 2 syllables before the 8 ending. So let's just listen.
He's taking me out for a celebration. He's taking me out for a celebration.
Now I am going to repeat the word, okay, with the stress sound own it. And all you have to do at home with your microphone off, I don't want you to turn it on. Try to repeat it, okay? Celebration, 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 okay? It's not celebration, okay? It's not celebration, okay? So celebration, celebration. Let's go with the following one next. So,
There's just one small condition. There's just one small condition.
Condition, 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 okay? That's the stress syllable, that's the stress part, which we have to increase, okay? It sounds more, it should sound more.
Call Valentino's and make a reservation. Call Valentino's and make a reservation.
Reservation, 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 okay? Here we have the words ending with 8. So I believe it should go there. Celebrate.
Here I am, ready to celebrate.
Uh-huh.
Here I am, ready to celebrate.
Okay, celebrate, celebrate. It's not celebrate, okay? Celebrate. Next.
I'm not going to stop investigating.
Investigating, investigating, investigating.
I'm not going to stop investigating.
Next.
It's a little complicated.
Complicated, complicated. It's not complicated, okay? Say how it sounds different. Complicated.
It's a little complicated.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure these words are in your pockets. We pronounce them in the correct way, but now we have a grammatical and phonetical rule that will always back us up, meaning that if we understand and if we apply this grammar rule, we will never be wrong, and therefore you should become comfortable when speaking, okay? So it's about time to activate your activities, okay? Let me pause, close. Let me reshare my screen. Good. So those are the pronunciations that we are going to work on. I'm going to activate them so that you can work on them. So we have about 7 activities already. Remember, one of them is 30 seconds long, so it's not that difficult, okay? So I will give you some time to work online for the rest of the class, for the second part of the class. I will also add this activity, which is a listening nightmare. It's just a story. It's just a story in which you have to, okay, let me share. So listening, a nightmare. All you have to do is listen, okay, to the story, and after that you will have to put the story in order according to the images, okay? So you will put numbers in order for the meaning of the story, okay? So that's another activity. Let me close, okay? And let me start activating so that you can work. If you have a question, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer, okay? So let me just activate our activities for today. Remember, tomorrow we have our conversation, and after that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have our, well, we are going to work on reading, writing. Those are very easy, very fast. And we have to finish our quiz, okay? Because the month is almost over, and so our course. So let me activate your explanations and activities. And that should be all for today. Let me activate them. After that, I will launch the poll question so that you can grade the teacher's enhancement. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, remember the day after tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, on Wednesday, we are working on reading, writing, and the quiz. For now, please work on your pronunciation section with the words ending in "shan" and "ate", consonant clusters, the nightmare story, and 2 activities for the passive modals, and 1 activity from the object adjective clause. This one we already, well, I help you, but please try, well, no, do not do this one. We already did it as a group. So let me send them to you. And that's it for today. Assign and send. Okay, so when is the due date? I'll give you to Thursday, which is a conversation day. Okay, so we have to Thursday, February 25th. Okay, so that you can work on them. Next. Activity attempts, unlimited. Test attempts, we don't have a test as of now. Okay, so that's about it. Capitalization, I'm gonna leave it on. Great punctuation, yes, on. So try to put the question marks or exclamation mark, period, dot, whenever is needed. There you go. Okay, guys, so please start working on your activities. If you have any questions, let me know. I will continue on online. Let me launch my poll so that you can answer them. And well, I appreciate your time for being present. I hope you're having a great day. We are almost finished with our course. Congratulations for being a great student. Thank you very much. I am now from my cell phone, which is another gadget. I am testing my audio. Do not pay attention to this, but if any of you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much. Keep working. Liana Villarroel, welcome. How are you?
Hi, teacher. I'm fine, thanks.
Good. So I've activated the activities for today. They should appear on your screen, but let me just give you a quick explanation about what we are doing. So let me close and reshare my screen for you, okay? 1 second.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Villarroel. So last week we talked about the future continuous, okay? And those activities have already been sent. Today we saw the following grammar explanations, which are the object adjective clauses, and well, this activity we did it as a group, okay? So you can see that on the video. Let me share, since you were not present, let me share the explanations with you specifically. Let me, okay, so I will be sending you this one. Grammar object adjective clauses, which is the correct use of that, which, or whom, okay? Perhaps you already know it. So that's what we are working on. So that's the explanation that you missed. And the other explanation would be the passive modals, which have been sent, passive modals, okay? So with that being said, I will send you the object adjective clause explanations, and here what we are working on. As you can see on your screen, the ones that are in blue with the check mark, those are the ones that we saw. Those are the ones that we are working with. So let me count how many activities your classmates are working with you. Let me see who just logged in. Okay, so it's only you. Okay, Villarroel, so we are working with passive modals. We have 2 activities. Listening nightmare, that's an audio in which all you have to do is put the pictures in the correct order according to the audio. Okay, so that's 3 activities. Now let's continue. We also took some time to go over some phonetical aspects about consonant clusters, okay? Where does the syllable is being stressed? With that, well, you can see I share all of them. They are easier than what their title is, okay? We are also working on phonetical aspects of words ending with shun, so they are activated. Remember, we usually have a section in which we record ourselves, so that's what we are working on. And that's it for today. So it's just working on your phonetical aspects. We have 1 listening activity, and for tomorrow we have our conversation section. And the day after tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all we are doing is the reading, the writing, and of course, the quiz, because our course is almost over. It's almost over, okay? So for the moment, these activities are activated. Please start working on them. If you have any questions, Villarroel, let me know, okay?
Okay, thanks, teacher.
By the way, have you answered the poll?
Yes.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate you for your time. I appreciate you being here present today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher. Bye. Bueno.
Okay, my dear students, one big favor, please. I am going to relaunch the poll because I believe one of you logged off, and once you logged in, you did it twice. So uno de ustedes lo hizo dos veces y eso no es congruente. Tengo a 7 estudiantes y tengo a 8 que votaron. Entonces voy a mandar de nuevo la encuesta y ya vuelvan a contestarla, por favor. Disculpen, pero it has to match. Entonces alguien votó dos veces, pero no hay problema. Lo vuelvo a enviar. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes. Please continue. Okay, guys, the class is almost over. Congratulations for working on them. Please continue working. Remember, we have 2 more days to finish these activities. Tomorrow, we are concentrating on the reading and writing section as well with the quiz. Well, that's the day after tomorrow, because tomorrow we have our conversation session. Talking about that, I would like to know if the given time, the schedule that I gave last class, is that positive for all of you? Meaning that, so I know, for example, Lizarro, I believe I asked you last week about the new time I gave you. Is that a positive? Is that a good time for you? Are you going to be able to make it tomorrow? Or do you want me to make some changes? Please let me know on WhatsApp. But if that's not the case, well, we will continue with that schedule for our 15-minute conversation class, okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys being present. I hope to see you tomorrow in your 15-minute conversation class. I appreciate your time. The class is now finished. So please have a good night. See you all tomorrow.
Thanks, teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr.
Bye-bye,
Thank
Oscar.
you. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.